Well, howdy everybody, and welcome to Coffee Nick's Movie Picks. You are on the introductory episode of a very special new series we're doing on the show. Some of you may be familiar with Lynchian Picks, which is an ongoing series that the show has right now, where we're focusing on the films of David Lynch. But in this new series called the Dolly-THON, we are going to be reviewing the films of Dolly Parton, all the way from 9 to 5 to some of her deeper cuts like Rhinestone and whatever the other ones are called. They're all hits. Mostly they're all hits, you know? But we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all of these movies. But you may have caught that I said we. There's a we on this series. And it's not just for this episode only. This is a co-host for the Dolly-THON series. He'll be with us the whole time. So I would like to introduce him. My Dolly-THON co-host is this little guy who knows everything there is to know about Miss Parton, and he also owns everything there is to own about Miss Parton. He is kind-hearted, he will brighten your day with a smile, and he exemplifies the spirit of Dolly. Get to know Gavin Hubbard.
Hi.
Hey, Gavin, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you? That was such a cute little introduction.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Anything for you. Like I said, you're like the closest I'll ever be to Dolly Parton because, I don't know, you're just so warm and so sweet and everything, and you've met her more times than me.
Well, I have seen her 3 times in real life. And
Yes.
that's like 3 times more than the normal person.
Yes, exactly. So when I thought about a Dolly Parton series, which was kind of like ruminating in my head, but then Alamo, they are showing a bunch of Dolly Parton films right now. I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. I want to do this. I feel like I've been doing so much horror on the podcast lately. I was like, I need to, balance it out with something sweet and fun. You're my resident Dolly Parton expert. So I was like, who better to be on here?
Yes, thanks so much for
Yes.
having me.
Of course, of course. So this episode, since you're new to the podcast, this episode is just an introduction to get to know you a little bit more. Of course, get to know Dolly Parton, and then just set expectations and sort of lay out the roadmap for this series, which I'm so excited for. So, Gavin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm Gavin. I'm just like pretty much your average little happy little gay guy. I love theater. I love pop music. And I am from Ohio, from the cornfields of Ohio. So I already feel connected to Dolly in that way. Being from kind of the middle of nowhere, not quite as in the middle of nowhere as she is, but
Right.
yeah, and I'm just so excited to chat with you.
I am too. I'm too. So we met in the past year. We met over the summer at my housewarming party when I moved. And you loving Dolly Parton was like one of the first things I learned about you, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it was very perfect setup. I'm very happy to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like a lot of people like associate me with Dolly, which is not a bad association to have.
No, not at all. Like I said, she's just like radiant and the most positive person ever. So like that's a really good trait. So tell me, what is your relationship with Dolly? Like what connects you to her besides what you just said? What does she mean to you?
Well, I feel like I can kind of go down my whole Dolly journey here.
Yeah.
So,
Get as deep as you want to get.
period, I will. So I first like became aware of Dolly on a family trip to Dollywood. We went to see Heart Song, which is like this immersive 3D, 4D like movie about her and her music and her time in the Smokies and just her love for the people. And that was my first time like really seeing her and seeing her sing. And I just kind of fell in love. I was like, wait, this music is kind of good. And like, I think it also stuck out to me because it's kind of like a production. And since I'm like a theater kid, I was like really into that. But after seeing that, I was like, I have to like dive into Dolly. So I asked my mom to buy me a little Dolly CD. She got me Eagle When She Flies. It was so good. And I was probably in a middle school at that point. And then from that point on, I was just kind of obsessed with Dolly as a person, as a songwriter, as an actress. I wrote a paper on her in the sixth grade for the Significant American Project. So I was telling all my little classmates about how much I love Dolly. And then, yeah, I'm just like so obsessed with her. I think she's just a great person who leads with kindness. She's so humble. She's very unique. There's like no one like her. And I think that's why I love her so much.
And so, how do you currently engage with Dolly? What are your thoughts about her now, and what do you often return to of hers? Like, what's that one album that's never quite left you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Dolly, she kind of like when I was like falling in love with Dolly wasn't as in the forefront of pop culture as
Hmm.
she is in the current day. Of course, everyone knew who she was, but within the last like couple years, she's like had this resurgence and she's doing all these brand deals. And it's like, oh, Dolly has a cooking line at the Walmart or has a cookware set at the Dollar General. So I just feel like she's really in her like consumerism era. So it's been really nice because she's been really easily accessible. And all these things that I wanted to get before, I don't have to like special order. I can just like go places and get her things. But yeah, I just love still just revisiting all of her music videos and movies like we're going to talk about. Um, an album that I always come back to is actually the accompanying album for the Heart Song show that I was talking about at Dollywood. It's a live album, so it's really fun to hear her talk. Of course, she has all those Dollyisms and
Hmm.
just a fun person to listen to speak. And what's really unique about the Heart Song album is that not only does she sing some of like her favorite songs, she also sings a lot of the songs that she grew up around, like a lot of the Appalachian hymns and things like that. So it just really feels like you're getting a full picture of who Dolly is. Um, there's one point in the live album where she's talking and she's like, um, I've been doing my own music for so long and I've always wanted to do these songs because they mean so much to me. And now that I don't need the money, I guess I can make a whole album and y'all will have to listen, basically.
Right.
So that's my love for Dolly is in that album.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And that's definitely why I have you here to talk about like a little bit about my relationship with Dolly and then just laying out like our roles on this little series, I guess. Of course, I'll be coming at it from like more of a movie angle and I'll be talking about like the directing, the acting, the technical stuff and all that. I, of course, love Dolly, and she's always been this presence in my life. But I feel like I haven't like completely dove deep into the Dolly lore like you have. So I'll be leaning on you a lot for like those research things and those little details or like that behind the scenes I don't know, stuff that you just don't see on the surface. But just to dive a little bit into like my relationship with Dolly and everything, she's always been kind of just this presence in my life. My mom and my grandma have always adored Dolly. I grew up and I remember very early on in my life, I watched Steel Magnolias, which will be one of our first episodes on this series. And a lot of things went over my head in that movie, but Dolly was like the one thing in that movie that really stuck out because she just has like, from a child's perspective, she just has like a very comforting personality. So I kind of gravitated towards her in that movie, and she was like really what stuck out to me, and I remembered her very clearly. But then I saw her in like Hannah Montana, and she was like on some of the songs and referenced in some songs and pop culture things I was like getting into in high school. And in high school, I went really hard into a Miley Cyrus phase. And again, I was like, oh yeah, Dolly Parton is her godmother, and they have all these connections and everything. And Miley Cyrus released Younger Now, and she had that track Rainbow Land with Dolly Parton, which I love. And that's when I really like was like, oh, Dolly's like the one. I really love her. And I kind of got into her hits at that time. I loved 9 to 5, Jolene. I discovered that Whitney Houston did not write I Will Always Love You. Because up until that time, I think that's the only version I heard was the Whitney Houston version, which is beautiful, of course. But introduced to the original. And then I got even deeper in college, I think. I started hearing like some of the deep cuts. I started watching like a lot of her interviews and seeing she was always kind of like on the front lines of whatever, like before it was a thing. Like she's of course always been an outspoken advocate for the LGBTQ community. She's always talked about like drag queens, and she's always kind of looked up to this like, I don't know, certain aesthetic that she talks about, which we'll get into, I know, in some of our movie reviews. But I have just really appreciated her, like, as a person and as an advocate and everything. And then I graduated college and I just got in really deep because I think so many of her songs and, like, really her personality and kind of like her presence, it kind of is about like this optimism in the face of adversity or in the face of darkness. Like I think about Light of a Clear Blue Morning, or like kind of like the yearning spirit of like My Tennessee Mountain Home. I think about that, and it really connected with me, like just graduating college, not really knowing anything and feeling like so out of place and like nostalgic and sad and everything. I really connected to her music. And then what really just solidified me was Dolly Parton's America, which is a podcast that I know I've brought up on this show before, but that podcast has Dolly Parton on it, and they basically talk about her story, every single aspect of her impact on the country music industry, really the music industry. And I just really, really came to appreciate Dolly Parton. It was really beautiful. That podcast was very well done and moving, and her part in it was as well. And from that point onward, yeah, that was it. It's kind of been like to this day. I've never seen her in person. Very upset about that. Hopefully I can one day. But I have been to Dollywood twice. I went this past fall. I went for the Autumn Harvest Festival. And then I went in the summer once, and I absolutely love it. And I love Tennessee. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. But that's everything. So, I'm still kind of like diving in deep, but Gavin, I'm going to rely on you, like I said, for that extra support. So, Gavin, one thing I like to do on this show to get to know our guests a little better is to ask them what they have on their coffee table. So I want you to lay out basically everything you're caught up in: books, movies, shows, podcasts, albums. What are you currently listening to, watching, reading, etc.?
Well, let's see. I am really trying to get back into music and listening to albums all the way through. I've kind of been in like a Zara Larsson phase right now,
Yeah.
trying to get into that album. She's coming to DC soon, so I really want to get caught up so I can go see her. Otherwise, I mean, Nick knows I'm a Housewives girly.
Mm.
So, been watching a lot of Housewives. Right now, I'm watching New York City, which is like kind of the blueprint for Housewives. Also watching Salt Lake City, which is kind of what everyone's watching right now. So good. Such a great cast. Angie K. Hive, We Rise. Yeah. And then, I mean, if we're talking about actually on my coffee table, I mean, you saw, Nick, I brought in a stack of 3 Dolly Parton coffee table books,
Right.
going over her career, her life on stage, and her costumes as well.
Yeah, the whole collection. I think she's only planning on releasing these 3 books, right?
That's all I know of so far.
Okay.
But I mean, you heard me say that's like the holy scripture right there.
Right. I mean, that's everything you could ever know about Dolly Parton is in those books. But for those of you who don't know, also my cat is scratching on his little post thing right now, so forgive that. Star of the show, behind the scenes, and songwriter, right? Or songteller?
Songteller, I think.
Yes, songteller. These massive, huge coffee table books all about Dolly Parton, like as detailed as you could ever want. So Gavin has all of those sitting right here for us to reference and to page through as we need to. We're going to be citing the scriptures in this series. So I'm very excited to go on this journey with you. I hope if you like Dolly Parton that we're able to do her films justice. If you want to, you can write in and we'll answer your questions or include your comments, what you have to say. But I'm really excited. Or if you don't know Dolly Parton, I hope that this is a perfect introduction for you, much like Dolly Parton's America was for me. I hope you're able to kind of like really get to know her through this and to see some of her really cool work in film. I wrote up a little thing about who Dolly Parton is, but she's known as the Queen of Country and is one of the most honored performers and artists of all time. She's a singer, songwriter, actress, philanthropist, and of course, a businesswoman. And she has a music career spanning 60 years and roughly 50 studio albums. She's been honored with 11 Grammys, 3 Emmys, 2 Academy Award nominations, 6 Golden Globes, a Tony, an honorary Oscar, and many, many, many more recognitions. She is most well known for songs including I Will Always Love You, Jolene, 9 to 5, and Coat of Many Colors, as well as the theme park she co-owns, Dollywood, which is a love letter to her Tennessee home in the Smoky Mountains. Most importantly, Dolly is known for her radiant kindness, love, and acceptance of all people, constant positivity in the face of adversity, and heart of pure gold. And a little detail that I like to bring up about Dolly, because this is just so important and impactful, is her literacy program, which is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. That's a part of the Dollywood Foundation, which was founded in honor of her father, who never learned to read or write. And this program, if you sign up for it, it mails 1 book per month to an enrolled child from the time of their birth until they enter kindergarten. Was there anything I was missing in that description?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that was very crash course. If there's like anyone out there who doesn't know who Dolly Parton is, which I imagine you do.
But where have you
Right.
been?
I know, where have you been? But yeah, in this series, we're going to be covering the films where she was starring, or maybe she had like a guest role. Obviously, this list can get very out of hand. She's been in a lot of different projects since she made her debut as an actress. So here's the short list of films that we want to cover. 9 to 5, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Rhinestone, Steel Magnolias, Straight Talk, and Joyful Noise. Was that all of them?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so like about 6 movies we're going to be covering as part of this series. And they're going to kind of like just come out whenever. We're going to move at our own pace with this since we're working with 2 schedules here. And it'll just be an ongoing series until we run out of movies. So yeah, you can expect normal podcast episodes also to come out just kind of in between to fill in the gaps. And of course, there may be more movies included. There might be little bonus treats somewhere. So keep your eyes out for that. But that's generally what we're going to try to follow. Yeah, Gavin, any other comments before we wrap up this little intro?
No, go Dolly. Love Dolly.
Go Dolly. Happy birthday, Dolly.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Dolly.
birthday, Dolly.
We're
Yeah.
this on Dolly's birthday.
Yeah, we're
80
recording
years.
it on her birthday, 80 years. The crazy part of me is like, I'm gonna edit it and put it out today so I can do. See, that's why like I burn out with this podcast where like I can't do it because I put myself like way too much stress on myself. So it's not coming out today. It's not coming out today. But just know.
People will know.
They'll know. Gavin's wearing his Dolly Parton shirt.
I am wearing my Dolly Parton shirt
One of
to
many.
celebrate. One of probably 10. This one, for the listeners at home, is like black with like 4 pictures of her face on it.
Oh.
It's from Dollywood. I probably got it in middle school and it still fits. So
Wow.
skinny.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for listening. We're very excited to go on this journey through the Smoky Mountains, the Tennessee mountain home. Right.
Dollywood to Hollywood.
Exactly. Wow.
Well, I didn't come up with that. It's in the,
Oh,
it's in the book.
Is it trademarked? Because if not, I'm going to use that as like the log line for this. Right.
I'm sure Miss Businesswoman, I'm sure it's trademarked.
Oh yeah, I was so scared to put her face on like the graphic for this because I was like, I don't want to get like sued by the Dollywood Foundation or whatever.
Right.
So, Dolly, just know if you try to sue me, I did it with a pure good heart.
And we're working with DC money here. So
Yeah,
it's like
DC money.
have $2 that we have in our bank
Yeah,
accounts.
you don't know how much money I'm sitting on, Dolly. Look at this. I got $1 million right here.
$1 million Addison Rae dollars.
$1 million Addison Rae dollars.
Yeah, I have one of those too. So together,
We have $2
$2
million.
million.
Addison.
Hey.
Yes, in the country, the Republic of Addison. Right. Okay, that's it. Follow along to this series. Follow on Instagram at Coffee Next Movie Picks, where I'm going to be posting all the time to update you when new episodes come out. Gavin, do you want to share anything? Where can people find you? In the Smoky Mountains? No?
Yeah, in the streets of 14 and U in DC. Find
in
me
that
there.
corner, right?
In the neighborhood.
Yep. All right, well, catch us there if you want. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.